Okay, so your screen may look like this, may look a little different. Based on the full screen, may have a little bit different ratio. I'm trying to keep this fairly large so that when it uploads, it doesn't, it doesn't mess with my text too bad and doesn't get too pixelated. So. Some immediate things that I would want to do is I do not need all of these tabs. So while we're navigating, the Features tab is going to create our solids. We also have the large tooltips with the pictures and animations. To start off with, let's leave those on. Sketching, where we're going to sketch, the tools we're going to use to sketch, different things that would want to work with. Markup is more of a revision process. Evaluate we will use for the measure and let's see, where is the mass properties? Oh, there it is. It's grayed out because I don't have anything. The MBD dimensions, very similar to the DIM Expert Manager, just a way of applying dimensions to the model and being able to um, use that as our working document. The SolidWorks add-ins, I'll probably leave that one on, and then another MBD has kind of a different set of tools. So the warning that comes with this, if I click anywhere in these tabs, and that is a right click, and we look at the tabs, I am going to uncheck the markup. And the last time I do not recommend this. The last time that it happened, it was kind of a pain to get them turned back on. So do not, repeat, do not uncheck everything. You want to leave these, some of these at least in play because otherwise it's kind of a mess. Now, the other side is some of these are going to be system settings, meaning that they're not attached to the part document. In general, they're just in the background. All right, so a lot of them will come over, but there's kind of a separation in a global setting versus a document setting. So uh, I don't try to remember which ones are which. I just am going through and setting the things that I know I would be interested in. So Instant 3D is enabling dragging of handles. We don't want to have the orbit and the arrows and things going on, so I'm going to say we turn that one off. The sketch and the evaluate and the add-ins, those all look pretty good. So I'll jump back to features. Across the top here then, let's go ahead and apply a scene. Use document scene. All right, so that's in the options. So we'll go ahead and do that, and I'm just going to switch to plain white, and we're going to turn the origin on. All right, so we have the origin is the intersection of our three planes, so just starting some basic navigation as we're going around clicking as we hover, things are popping up. And just for a quick note, I did not add a high-end video card to this Dell system. It is pretty fast. Otherwise, I haven't seen any major issues. But SolidWorks has barked at me a couple times that I don't have an authorized card or whatever. So we're going to see how that works, and I figure I can always add one later if I'm really not happy with it. So intersection of the three planes. If I click on the first one and hold down the shift and click on the last one, standard Windows process of I am selecting everything. If I want to select an additional, hold down the control and the origin pops up as the little blue dot. I'm selecting it again, selecting another one. I'm still holding down the control, select, select, and so we can go through that process of selecting either as a group, select the first one, hold down the shift, and select the last one, and you can pick all of them. All right, so that kind of gets me started on the view. Also notice that a few more things are active since we have the features, the sketch. Um, we did find that I'm not really doing anything with the 3D views and the motion study, and then since that's taking up a little bit of space, we're going to see how, yeah, that jumped out way over there. Let's go to the other one, and the toolbars in that one went way down there. So what I'm looking for is the one that says, nope, I want to leave the view heads up, and I don't think I can, well, we'll see. I'll try and move that without making too big of a mess. And so the view, the tools, the task pane, if we ever lose this one, then that is the task pane, and there is the motion manager. So that was what I was looking for. Can pull that out of the way. I'll surround that one again. And, oh, so it did just turn off the motion manager. I guess I would also have to do 3D views. So that one's new. Capture a 3D view. Okay, we'll I'll have to do a search for that one because I do not recognize that it must be in 2023. Let's see. One of the other things that I just noticed is that my title bar kicked off a piece. So I do want to point that out. One of the important things, if it's not showing up, is the title of this document right now is part 1. I have not saved it. That's the reason it has the little star. So I have to balance that out and see which way I want to go with it. May increase the resolution a bit on this to make sure that that stays included. And we're going to go into the options just real quick and pick my favorite 3 or 4 to work from. So kind of going through, we want to make sure the confirmation corner is available. That's from our sketches. In the drawings, I still do not see the point of marking all part assembly dimensions for import into drawings. The only main difference here is that my dimensions in the sketch will be purple, and whoever doesn't do that will still show up in black. There is a way of filtering or um, making sure that if everything's marked and we can still insert everything as far as a dimension into the drawing, then it's still a kind of a weird purpose. So that's one I kind of go back and forth on. The colors, this was the used document scene background, so apparently that was set to the viewport color above, which was kind of a gray. We're probably going to go into the selected item, the blue. The blue on the part, I don't know. We'll have to see how visible that is. So on the videos previously, the blue was not really that great. So sketches, probably the fun one is the fully defined sketches. We want to make sure that's turned off. Otherwise, it doesn't let you out of the sketch unless you fully define it, which we want fully defined sketches, but yeah, it's not always possible. Enable on-screen numeric input on entity creation. We're going to try that, but if it messes up in Windows 11, I'm prepared to go turn it off. So one of the things that it would do is when I would create the dimension in Windows 10, it would apply the dimension, and this is all a future conversation, but it would apply the dimension, and it would be a driving dimension. In Windows 11, it would automatically create these as driven dimensions, which defeats the purpose of doing the sketch numeric input and entering those values. So we'll come back to those. Relations, display, if we have anything. A lot of these are going to be items that Only if we're really having issues do we come back to. The default templates, file locations we'll get into. I'm going to push out um, the cloud um, topics. I do like having my templates and having a lot of the system files on a Google Drive or OneDrive or Dropbox or one of the cloud storage. So, but to start off with, we're going to just stay with these items. So I made it down to the feature manager, and I want to show the solid bodies. That will be important later. I do use, and I want you to be aware of the solid bodies. There's a lot of power there, and also some ways to get into trouble. So I don't really need to see the sensors or the history. So we're over here. Let's see what else would be in this group. Don't think there's anything. Doesn't look like the design binder used to be kind of one of the defaults. No, it looks pretty good. Spin box increments, if you want to change how much the arrows go up and down, kind of work with those. And the all-important reverse mouse wheel zoom direction if you are coming from another product, that is an Autodesk project, then your zoom will be reversed and it will mess you up for a while. So reverse the mouse wheel to whatever you're comfortable with, or leave it the way it is if you are good for that. I am going to fly without a net, so I'm not going to I'm going to uncheck the save auto recovery information. If your system is temperamental and prone to locking up, then we probably want to leave that at about the 10-minute mark. No, I'm not doing backup copies. If we do turn these on, then I am going to recommend that the auto recover folder and the backup folder not be buried in the app data, basically a hidden system folder, that you place this somewhere in your My Documents that you can easily access it and know how much space it is accumulating on your hard drive. This is not a touchscreen. We'll take another look at that with my laptop. That is a touchscreen. And the whole wizard and toolbox, that all looks good. File Explorer is what's going to show up over here on the right. Search, collaboration, no. Probably the other thing is import. At some stage we will import an STL file, but uh, I hesitate to do the 3D interconnect. It depends on what environment you're working in, because I'm geared more to manufacture. The 3D interconnect keeps an external link back to the original translated file. More terminology for you to start to digest and be introduced to, but this will create an imported solid, which means it's a snapshot of that step file at that time. So if there's a problem with it, then it's not because it's moving back and forth within that external reference. All right, so the backup and recover. I don't see the messages. Oh, there it is. Remind me when a document has not been saved for 20 minutes. So a little pop up on the screen for if it hasn't been saved. All right. Decision on the 3D views. View, not the toolbars. We want to be. Oh, yeah, I guess it was toolbars. I am not seeing the 3D view. So we'll navigate back up. Also, if your command manager gets turned off, it will do something like that. And then, lost it again, toolbars. We want to enable the command manager. You can also right click in the gray areas and have those pop up. And I'm still not seeing the 3D views. So anyway, the view heads up is this one. Task pane is this one. over on the right. Let's go back into the user interface. We can also turn the task pane on. The feature manager tree area, pay attention to the F keys when they show up because those are kind of important in that if you accidentally hit one of them, it will do something and we might not really know what that is. All right, so let's go ahead and save this. And one of my thoughts, reasons for having this in another location is as far as the templates and the system files that we're looking to modify. Let's see, I got some stuff in the way down here. I want to create, well, I may have to move that again because it is over the top of my selection. All right, so let's try that again. I am looking for the Solidworks part template, and I don't think, there we go, part templates, PRT DOT. So I had one of the screen capture pops up sitting on top of it. So notice that it jumps to templates, and then I need to be in there. And for this one, if there's something specific I have not done, so that reminds me, this is going to be an inch template, so an inch part, and we'll save it. And we did not go into the document properties, so the quickest is to jump between millimeters and inches is in the lower right. It says IPS, or it'll say MMGS. I can also edit the document units, which takes me back into the properties and directly to the units. I would like to be in 3 decimal places for my inch length. The dual dimension is in millimeters and set to none. Well, I think that should be 2. So yeah, we'll go through more of those later. And I'm going to do another file save as. And notice it goes back to my part file, but then, pesky thing, it goes back to my part file, but it's also still in the folder that I had previously saved to. So when we actually create a part and go through the process, so let's overwrite that, and then we'll test it. We'll need to make sure that we navigate away from that folder and put it somewhere where we can actually find it. All right, so go to New. There's my inch part. I have my white screen background. My Instant 3D is turned off. Looks like Instant 2D is turned off as well. That's good. Origin is showing. All right. So as just being able to make those initial settings, and if you want to navigate through these settings until you get a feel for where everything's at, that's fine. But these are some of the basic settings that will get this kicked off and make it a little easier to start getting into the parts.